going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to episode, I think, 18 of the Feel for Football podcast. I'm your host, Sanchez Bailey. And again, I'm starting with the guest today. It's a very interesting guest that we do have because I really wanted to explore the idea of playing abroad. And as well as I do, how popular that is becoming now. But it also is quite a daunting whole journey, so to speak. So I'm speaking to someone who I would consider a pioneer of going abroad and playing, in another country and building up his reputation, playing at the highest standard that you can in the country. And I'm speaking to Matthew Watson, who plays in for the USL League, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
For Indy 11.
Indy 11. I know it's a bit of a weird name.
Welcome to the Feel for Football podcast, my guy. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you very much. Just enjoying my weekend.
So, well, we were speaking on Instagram. We came across each other on Instagram, and you was it was a very airing and nervy time in America because it was election period, right? You look at peace now.
Definitely. Yeah.
You look at peace now.
Yeah, that was huge for me personally. Obviously, I couldn't vote or anything in the election, but the guy in charge, Donald Trump, I think is a clown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think he's not a politician. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think he's disrespectful. I think he brings out the worst in people. And I think for the future of this country, he had to go. And like, for me, it's not like a Democrat versus Republican thing. Like, I just think him in particular as a human being is not what you need running your country. So that's my piece.
Well, I'm going to say how rude of me firstly, because you're speaking and people are hearing you now and they hear an accent. You're not an American.
No, that's correct.
So I'll give a little bit of a brief and then you can finish the story for me. Okay. You're from the Midlands in the UK.
Yeah.
And then now you are currently based in Indiana.
Yeah, that's correct.
So explain that, because that's almost not normal for many Englishmen.
Yeah. So basically, I grew up in the UK. Was just playing Sunday League. Got signed for Wolves at 14. Was there until 19. And at that time, they made a decision whether you go in the first team, and I didn't get into the first team. But the FA had a program where college coaches come and watch you play, like over a couple of days in these games. And I got offered scholarships to go to the United States, and I'd always kind of found the States an interesting place. Like, I loved hip hop, love like the clothes and all that. So I was like, yeah, let me try this. And like, honestly, I wasn't thinking long term, like I'm gonna stay there, whatever. I thought I'd go get my degree at college and then work out from there. Like, for me, like, kind of football at that point was in the backseat. Like, maybe I'm never gonna play pro, So I was like, let me go and get my degree. It'll be free because I got a full scholarship, whatever. And I just took a gamble and ended up coming over to America. Didn't really love school. Like, I'd finished school in the UK at that time. You finish at 16. So from 16, 19, I was just in the academy playing football. Like, no education really. I was going 1 day a week to my local college, but I wasn't really invested in that either. So to go back to school full time, was not for me at that time. Like, mentally, like, I wasn't in a space where I wanted to be in a classroom listening to someone tell me about something I didn't really care about.
Yeah.
So after 3 semesters, I was like, I gotta leave. Like, I can't do this. My team at college wasn't very good, so I dropped out basically. And actually, funnily enough, signed for a professional indoor team first, where my boy, who was at Wolves, he signed there. So this guy Johnny Steele, the Irish kid, who was at Wolves with me, and he came to States and started playing pro straight away. So he calls me up and was like, "Why don't you come out?" So I went, played. It's like 5v5 on the field, like, but like the team I signed for, like, my first game, we had 15,800 fans, something like that, like, packed house for this indoor soccer.
It's in the States as well.
What's that? Sorry?
It's in the States still.
Yeah, they still have it. I don't know if the attendance is as high as they used to be, but like, during that time, like, there's good rivalries with their like rivals, Milwaukee and Philadelphia and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like the fan base is religious about it. Like, they've been coming since like the 80s to watch these games, these indoor games, and they've had some like big players come and play. So I'm a fish out of water. I'm just like following a path really. I didn't really have a plan at this time, and then they actually loaned me outdoor to a team called Richmond Kickers in Virginia, and that's kind of how my outdoor career started. And I've just been playing for the last, like, this is upcoming, be my 16th professional season in the States.
That's crazy. And just listening to you
Yeah.
speak, and like it'll be great to really kind of pick at some moments and explore how you kind of handled it, and maybe if you was to handle it again, what you might do differently or even the same. But
Yeah.
I'm hearing you speak and just hearing the accent, and I feel like it's a bit of a mixture. I feel like it's getting there towards the American side, but you're still holding on as much as you
You know what? It's weird because over here, like, no one understands what I'm saying. Like, I will go in a shop and I'll say something, and people just look at me like I'm crazy, like they think I'm from Australia,
Yes,
or
it sounds like that now.
they will know. No, it's yeah, or they know I'm English and just want me to talk. They'll say, "Can you say something for me?" You
Right.
know, and yeah. So like, anytime I say numbers, they don't understand what I'm saying. Like if I'm on the phone, no one understands what I'm saying. But then when I come home, like everyone says I sound a little bit American, which is so I'm like caught in between, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm guessing you obviously found an American companion. So
Yeah. So my wife is American. I met her in college like straight away, 2004. This November 7th was our 11-year wedding anniversary. Got 3 kids. My life is in the States now, basically.
yeah, yeah.
Safe
So
for 'em.
you was in a house full of Americans as well. So well done for holding on as much as you can in terms of
I have to. I'm trying to educate in the right way, you know.
fair enough. But just kind of moving on to like your time now in England, yeah. So you're playing
Yeah,
at Wolves. Were there even any
yeah.
players that you were playing with at the time that is senior in the English game now, or even in the American game or anywhere?
So there's a player called Leon.
Leon
Yeah, there's a player
Moffat?
called Leon Clark. Who's Leon Clark.
Got
He
you.
was at Sheffield United for a little bit. I'm not sure where he is now, but he was at Wolves for a while in the first team, and then I think he maybe went to Sheffield after that. And it's kind of he's still in the game there, and I think he's had quite a good career for himself. But I mean, you know, it's like in the academy, like most of the guys don't make it. I mean, Jolin was in the first team while I was there, but had already like graduated from the academy.
If that's what you're referring to, I believe.
What's that? Sorry,
You say Jolian.
Jolin Lescott
Yeah.
had graduated the academy, was still like in the club. We had a couple players like make that first step to be on the first team roster, but never really like break through.
Yeah.
So, you know, like so many guys come in every year, and the turnover is huge. Like most of them, you know, most players don't make it.
And how did you take that? Now, I don't know if you even heard, and it's really sad news that there was a gentleman in the UK that committed suicide not too long ago. I don't know if you heard of the news.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I saw
that
that. I
just
saw that.
echoes the pressures of the academy life and the jump and maybe not even getting it to that professional standard. How did you kind of handle it? Because
Yeah.
that's everyone's dream at that time.
Yeah, you know, like every one of your friends and everyone knows that you know you've made it, quote unquote. You know, you're on the academy, whatever. Like your path is destined to be one of the footballing greats of the world. You know, like everyone wants to know what's going on with your time, and like once I finished school and my friends were like doing other things, like I was playing football. So like everyone's looking to me, asking how it's going, whatever, when you're gonna play in the first team, when you're gonna move to Arsenal, you know, like these kind of questions in their minds that it's given, but it's tough, you know, it's hard. You're competing with, you know, the other best players from your local area or elsewhere, you know, especially now, like players all over the world come into these academies. It's not just the UK players you're competing with, and the pressures to succeed are so much, and you're so young at that time, you don't really have the life experience or maybe the mental capacity to handle some of the things. So it was tough. I mean, to be honest, like I think it was tougher for my parents because they always thought I was going to make it, you know, like I feel like I had a decent run in the academy, and I gave myself a decent chance. But to be honest, like I don't think I took it as serious as maybe I should have at that time. You know, maybe I didn't understand quite what was in front of me. Uh, you know, being an immature teenager, I was
Yeah.
still like, my friends weren't playing football, but I always wanted to hang out with my friends, stay up late, you know. And I thought when I'm on the field, I give 100%, you know, but outside factors, you know, probably hindered me a little bit. So when it happened, I wasn't super discouraged. Like I'm pretty laid back, easygoing. That probably hurt me. Like that was probably one of the reasons I didn't make it. But definitely hurt my family. Like they were supportive, but you know they were worried for me and what I'm going to be doing, because you know I didn't love school. I didn't really have a pathway of what I was going to do after that. So as I said, I went on a couple little trials at local smaller teams, and just I wasn't built to play at the lower levels, especially at that time. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it's, getting smashed in tackles, winning headers and all that stuff. Like, I like football. I like passing, moving, dribbling. Like, I'm not in it for like a dogfight, So I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but again, I'm pretty easy going, and I just thought I'd find my way. And at that time, I had no responsibilities, like I was going to be fine in life terms. Obviously, someone whose football was their dream, like that was tough. But I just, as soon as I got that American thing, I kind of attached to that, stuck with that, and that worked out for me. So I think if you already know something about the country, that probably helps. But I would say, like, again, it's going to be different for everyone. But if you have the right support system in place, like, you can do it without the risk. Like, I always knew my parents will be there for me. Like, if I go, get there, make a hash of it, it doesn't work out, I could always go back home and start afresh. So I kind of went with that mentality that what have I got to lose? I'm not going to play in England right now. Like, I want to play some more. And I was thinking I'll get my degree, come back. I was kind of thought I was going to come back with a degree and just get a job, but that just didn't turn out happening. And as I said, I think for anyone listening, you should go with an open mind and kind of just follow things naturally. Like, I never planned for this to happen, but it happened and it worked out for me. So
for sure, and I'm glad that you mentioned the support system. That was something I definitely wanted to speak to as well, because the people around you are very important in terms of keeping you along, like on course, essentially. So fast forward into you, well, you were saying that you was going to make it, having the feeling that your ability was far superior to those that were in the scholarship ranks, and then fast forward to you actually then becoming a pro. So congratulations on that, because it's not an easy feat. How did that actual process go about coming along?
I mean, so as I said, I dropped out. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was planning on going to another college, a bigger college that took it more seriously. And then as my friend hooked me up playing for the Baltimore team. Yeah. So my first experience was indoor, and like, I didn't love indoor. Like, I played 6 years, because the way the seasons go, like, the outdoor kind of goes just in 1 year, like from March to like October, and then indoor covers the other parts. So I get paid all year round. I play indoor and played outdoor, like back to back with no breaks. Like, they literally overlap. So I literally missed preseason on both ends, which was amazing. But the fitnesses are very different. But that just worked out. And luckily, the team I played for was like, the indoor team was very professional. They're very good. They took care of everything. My housing, like, I got good money there. Like, the fan base was amazing. So I was lucky. Like, a lot of these teams in America come and go. Like, they're in one season, gone the next. There's so many teams since I've been here following, and I've been very fortunate in going to teams that are still around and are more established. So then they loaned me. So I was signed to the indoor team, loaned to my outdoor team, Richmond. And so I went on trial there. I just turn up. I don't know anyone. It's just we play a game. I do well. I think I got an assist, and then they were like, "Yeah, we'll sign you." But then I remember my very first professional game. Like, the tryout was at night, and Virginia's a hot place. And then my first game was in the day, and I came on a sub. Yeah. And when I say, like, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't run. And I remember the captain of the team at the time, his name was Mike Burke, yelling at me, You don't want to play? You don't want to play out here? And I was like, I can't breathe, like, I can't run. So, like, at that point, I was around my mom. I was like, Mom, I don't think, like, I can do this. Like, it's too much. And then she actually came across. So that's talking about the support system. My mom came over. She just took care of, like, stuff I need in the house, because that time, like, I was earning like nothing. Like, I basically wasn't allowed to sign because I hadn't got my, like, work visa or whatever.
Right.
So I was still on my, like, college visa. So they basically were giving me per diem every day. So for that first season, I had, like, just enough money to get by. I could basically pay my car payment. In fact, I couldn't even pay my car payment. I was just paying the insurance. And just enough food. Like, that was it. Like, I had no money for extras. I was bare bones. But again, I was like, well, this is my chance to make it. So, when that's what's presented, you just go with it. Like, the thought of what I've been through to get to where I'm at and, like, be more established, looking back, it was hell. By the time I was, like, young, I was like 21. Like, I didn't need extravagant things, but that was tough. So my mom came across, and I wanted to quit, honestly. I wanted to go home. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have like the captain's yelling at me first game, like I didn't play well, whatever. Like let's just go home quick. But mum said like, look, let's just stay, let's play one more game, whatever. Yeah, okay. So I did that, and I scored in that game. I scored in the game after. I think I scored in the game after that, and that kind of was it for me. Like I was regarded as one of the better players in the team. The fan base warmed to me, and I stuck around and kind of just bounced around America since then.
Yeah, interesting. And that sounds like an actually interesting story to watch in terms of someone from England coming to the States and surviving and having the challenges of limited funds and, acclimatizing,
Yeah,
and then you having that support system as well. And that's probably one of the standout messages in terms of us speaking today is ensuring that you have that people with you, ideally before you even go. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, it's daunting going to a new country, but if you have nothing to fall back on, I think that's what would be one of the hardest things. Just knowing that I could come back to somebody and that would, basically let me land on my feet and start again was huge. But again, when you're younger, I think it's easier to take that chance. I think as you get older, like now, like I have a family, I have a wife, like I can't be taking huge risks, But at that point, I think when you're younger, it's the time to take risks, try new things, and every situation is different, I think, but most people when you're younger are more likely to have a support system behind them. So
yeah. Now, there's something I was going to say which I completely forgot now, which is quite annoying. But anyway, one thing I definitely do want to know is looking back on your career now. Not even saying that it's done because you've finished your season now and you're waiting to reconvene again. So it's not the story's not over. But in terms of looking back now, what would you say is the highlight for you?
I think my seasons in Vancouver were the highlight. That was like the most professional club that I've been a part of.
Like, that was the MLS, right?
That was in MLS. That was my first contract MLS. So I signed like a 4-year contract in Vancouver. But the way it is in the MLS, especially when you're unknown, it's like 1 year guaranteed and then like 3 years options where they can keep you and not keep you. But I managed to stay all 4 years. 2 Vancouver, 2 in Chicago. But like Vancouver, first of all, the city is just amazing. Like there's like mountains, there's water, there's beaches. The city's like nice and clean. And I would say Canada is more like a bridge between, like it's between America and England. It's got some of England, like the fashion elements are more English. Like the Americans don't always, but can be sloppy dressers. Whereas the Canadians take more pride in their look, which I liked a lot. Like you get more of the English like candy, like Smarties and stuff, which in the States, like, everything's like this Hershey chocolate, which is not for me, So like my time in Canada was amazing. The club was like, they picked me and my family up from the airport. Like everything off the field was taken care of, so you could just focus on football. Which I think comes to psychology, like the psychology behind that is huge. Like first of all, you have no excuses because like the housing's taken care of. Like the team admins like drop you if you don't have transport. They're going to drop you to where you can get transport. They're going to help you out. Like the amount of medical staff at that club was unbelievable. There was like 4 full-time medical people, masseuses, acupuncturists, chiropractors. Like you had no excuse not to be healthy, be on the field. Like everything's taken care of, which was amazing. I felt like a professional footballer. I had a good fan base. It was amazing.
We've kind of got to around the timing of the episode where we're finished essentially, and there's so much more I would love to kind of get from you because there's so much to learn from in terms of maybe some of your highest moments and some of your challenges. Could we quickly explore that quickly? Like what's been one of the highlights of your career so far, and one of the most challenging? Let's start off with the challenging.
When I broke my leg was probably one of the most challenging moments. Like we were last game of season in Carolina, and so playoffs the next game, and I'm just running down the right hand side with the ball and it's bouncing slightly, and this kid just basically 2-foot tackles me like while the ball's bouncing to try and get it, and my leg is planted, and I just tore all the ligaments in my left ankle, broke my fibula. It's called like a Mason new fracture, and there's just like the comeback from there was really hard. Like there were times where I was just like, I'm never really gonna be the same again or play again or get to any next level that I was planning on at that time. Like I did have ambitions to come back to the UK and play still. Like I was planning on going hopefully doing well here, and then looking to come back to the UK. So I was like, oh man, like that's all over with. And just like at that time, the team was at Carolina, didn't have the best medical staff, so I didn't really do any rehab. Like it was just like I'm sitting at home with the club not really reaching out to me or anything. And then preseason started, I'm turning up, I can't really run or kick, and I just went out there and like started going slowly. And I mean, like it's still not great. Like I have like zero range of motion on my left ankle. Definitely slowed me down, but I had to adapt my game. And I think going to the psychological part, like if I wanted to play, I had to play differently. I used to be much more use my physical attributes, my speed and my strength to get around. I had to learn to like think more, get in better little pockets and positions, think ahead, you know, those just to be able to carry on playing. But I think it made me a better player, to be honest, because maybe I was relying too much on my physical side. But yeah, I've never physically been the same since then. Like I'm still struggling with things with it now. So from that moment, like, I don't know, I feel like it really hurt me.
I appreciate you sharing that. And one of the things I would even ask, how long ago was that?
That was probably like 2008, 9, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, a long time ago. And I mean, like that was before I'd played in MLS. So I managed to come back to some sort of state where I could still, you know, get to a higher level. But I think I like, if that hadn't happened, I'd have been better player.
Yeah, sure. What was your highlight of your career?
The highlight was probably when I was in Vancouver when we played against LA Galaxy in the playoffs. And, you know, it's my first time playing. It was a play-in game. Like I think we finished 5th and we had to play in to get in playoffs or something like that. And
who was there at the time, LA Galaxy? Because there's been quite a few.
I mean, I have played against Beckham. I remember I crushed Beckham in a tackle one time, and I felt bad, but I just want to tackle him. Like anytime Henry will get the ball when we play against Red Bulls, or when he was at, oh no, but yeah, he was at Red Bulls. I would run back just to try and get a tackle in. Yeah. But when LA Galaxy, I remember playing Beckham, but I don't think he played in that game. I don't think there was any other big names there in this game.
Right.
But I just had like a really good individual game. I had an assist in the game. We unfortunately lost 2-1, I remember. And this still haunts me. I had this chance to kind of finish the game. I think at the time it was 1-0. Mm-hmm. And I'm not through on goal, but like I'm on the edge of the box and there's like a window for me to shoot. And I'm trying to decide, do I like cut it back across the goalie or just bend it straight? And in the end, I like kind of bended it to the side of mine and the goalie managed to get there. But I always look back at that chance that could have finished that game. And they went down, like we had a couple more chances after that. It was like bobbing around the box. We had Kenny Miller on our team and it like came to him. He almost scored. And then we had this other guy, Barry Robson, who played for Middlesbrough, Scottish guy. And then he had a chance and we didn't put that one away. And then they broke down the other end. I think they got a corner, scored off the corner and ended up being us 2-1. But I just remember playing really well. I was playing on the left side in the 4-4-2. I was playing left of the 4. And I was just dribbling my guy every time. Like I would nutmeg them, put it over his head. Like, and I just had the assist. And I was feeling confident, you know. But if I'd put that chance away, everything could have changed for me, you know. But yeah, that was just like, I felt like, oh, I'm a good player now. Like I'm playing in the MLS against good teams and doing well. So I felt good.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of experience, what's been like one of your biggest lessons or in your career so far that you feel would add value to other players?
Yeah, I would say that whole piece that I've mentioned kind of throughout this is just using your mind more. I feel like early in my career, I was very physically, everything was physical. I want to do everything fast. I want to get the ball, I dribble you, on a body you, like all that stuff. And then like again, from my injury, having to use my brain more. Then when I went to MLS, I had to completely change my game. I remember my first couple of games in MLS, I was just trying to do what I used to do in the USL, and the players are a little bit smarter, a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. So I had to again adapt my game to use my brain more. So think ahead. Now that was the biggest thing, was thinking ahead, checking my shoulder. Stuff I never used to do. I used to never check my shoulder. I used to just get the ball, start to turn. If someone's there, I'm going to body you, you know? And like, I think in the America, the game went more technically based earlier. So players don't use their body as well. So I used to get away with a lot of not like check my shoulder and just using my strength to like get out situations and my speed and my feet or whatever. But like when I went to MLS, that did not work. I remember my first game, just get into so many scuffles and challenges with the ball, and everything was like, it would come to me, you know, the game would slow down and stuff. So just using my mind, thinking ahead before the ball's even there. I need to know this option, in midfield. I need to check my shoulder, off a man on. I always remember at one training session before a game, and Cole Robinson, who's coached over here, but he's a Welsh guy, played for Wolves, really good football player, really smart football player. Was playing in training as one of the coaches, and I get the ball and I haven't checked my shoulder, and he just crushed me. And that was not because he didn't like me; it was to teach me a lesson.
Right.
That I've got to check my shoulder, because he used to tell me all the time, and I never used to do it because I'm so used to just not doing it. And from that moment, that like sticks in my memory. Like, oh, I've got to check my shoulder, check my shoulder, check my shoulder. Like, so again, it's something using your brain, I think. And when I'm talking to my kids, they're under 9 kids, you know, and they're maybe not going to get it, but if I keep reinforcing, I'm like, you've got to use your mind more, think ahead, get your body shape right before the ball comes there. And I think that's one of the most undervalued tools of football. You know, everyone's like, oh, use your left foot, use your this, that, and other. But the game is mostly played with your brain. You know, your brain affects all the body parts. I think tapping into that, and kind of goes well with the psychology part, is one of the most important things to play at the highest level, because those players are so smart that if you're just trying to outrun them and outfight them, it's just not going to work, because they've got the answers for that in their mind.
You said this to the right person, and I have to admit, I did not pay him or ask him to say that. He said it off his own back. I didn't tell him to mention psychology, but no, I agree. And one of the things I really push is using training as an opportunity to create those habits. You know, it's no good really trying to go in a big game and start doing things all of a sudden. It's things that you need to cherish the training element so that it becomes habitual, so that when you do engage in competition, it becomes a lot more natural. So I definitely support what you're saying. And I really appreciate you even mentioning the supporting system, because the last 2 episodes have actually been around creating your supporting system and being open with them. Because most people have supporting systems, but do you really utilize them, and do you open up and do you share the positive as well as the challenging scenario? So I'm glad that you've kind of allowed that whole message of the support system and those around you to kind of transition into this episode as well. So appreciate your perspective.
I think on that, just real quick, like, I think when you're younger, it's much harder though. Like, when you're younger, you don't want to rely on other people so much, and even if you're feeling something inside, you don't want to share. Like, you need to come across a certain way. And I think as I've got older, it's been much easier. But I'd say to anyone young listening, you know, like, people want you to succeed. Like, your people around you want you to succeed. So if you can open up to them a little bit and let them know what you're feeling, whether that be pressure or whatever, like, you should. And I wish earlier, you know, I'd kind of told my mom and dad how I'm feeling, because I feel like me just kind of not opening up to them, maybe they didn't understand like how much pressure I felt and stuff like that. And a lot of the pressure I felt was for them. Like, I wanted to be successful because they wanted me to be successful more than I really wanted it for myself, you know. And my biggest fear was letting them down. But had I opened up at that time, I feel like they would have took that pressure away from me and said, listen, like, don't do it for us. But that's in retrospective, you know. Like, at that time, I was in a place where I could have like these deeper conversations with my parents. So.
Yeah, sure. And I guess, you know, that's great that you have that, and I appreciate you even passing on that message. And that's why I even mentioned even getting in the habit of speaking positively, you know, just letting people know when you had a great game, just getting used to speaking and sharing your experiences, because it is going to be daunting if you want to tell someone that you're struggling when you don't tell them anything. So getting in the habit of sharing the good elements and the things that you're going through almost makes it seem natural for you to actually share when you're going through a challenging scenario. We've just spoken so much, and that's only testament to you, you know, offering so much information and your journey. And we've literally gone just over an hour. And for those listening to the podcast, this is going to be cut short into a 25-minute episode. So, you know, I just want to say thank you for like literally taking the time and speaking to us. Sorry for taking more than your time. I promised a little bit shorter. But I want to just kind of close it now, let you have the opportunity to enjoy your day. And when I come over to the States, I'll definitely be coming to see you in Indiana.
Yeah, come and check me out, bro. Come and check me out for sure.
For sure, man. Well, listen, all the best, and we'll be in touch and look forward to seeing you in action for
Uh,
what you say is the last season.
yeah. Hopefully we'll see.
Take care, my man. All the best, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers.
And that was a really good conversation with Matt. And I just realized that I had my mic in the wrong hole in my camera. So the audio is going to be completely different. Hopefully it's not too bad of a listen. But I just want to kind of echo some of the things that we discussed. And again, last week we were speaking about you being able to, the last episode we were speaking about you being able to communicate. The episode before that, we were speaking about support as well, and you building that support system around you. And then today we speak to Matt, who made the journey from the United Kingdom to the United States, and one of the most important things that was able to keep him during his time to endure and to overcome challenging scenarios and circumstances was the support system around him. And so that is definitely a take-home message. I definitely think that it will be good for you to have an idea of the place that you're going to, whether you identify the culture, you have, an idea of how the country operates in terms of, the footballing system. Maybe it'll be also good for you to ensure that you almost do an assessment of the agent that you're working with or whoever is representing you, whether they're able to support you and adequately look after some of the things that will allow you to focus more on football. And then lastly is for you to have a philosophy, knowing what you want to get out of your career, knowing what your purpose is and what you want to be remembered as a football player. I feel like that will be important for you because there's going to be testing times whether you would want to continue or not. But if you have your own philosophy, which is spoken about in earlier episodes in terms of what you want to achieve and who you are and what you want to bring to the team, your quality, and as I said, what you want to be remembered as, those will be driving forces that keep you, especially in a scenario of moving abroad, which is a tough scenario for anyone to take. But hopefully now that we've got players that are showing this is possible to do and still be recognised in England, I'm hoping that for those that have that scenario presented to them, they are able to prepare themselves adequately and not look down at those opportunities. Anyway, all the best. We went over time. Me and Matt spoke for over an hour, but I'm going to condense this episode into about 25 minutes, and I'll probably drip feed you guys with some of the extra content and topics that we discussed on Instagram. So make sure you're checking that out. You're following the Feel for Football page, and that'll be on my page as well. The extra content that me and Matt filmed. Anyway, till next time, and enjoy your week.